Okay, so after my other video, aptly titled, I don't know anything, I'm just an asshole. Let's talk about Reiki. Let's get serious about Reiki for, what, can I do it for 5 minutes? We'll try. So, what is Reiki? The foundation, the dynamic, the bottom line is Reiki is using energy to heal the mind-body connection. Now, in such manner, it's a transference. There's energy coming through the crown and opening through the palm. When I make a student, I focus on the crown. That's where we put the energy in. We basically take this and we open it up like this. So you could consider Reiki in a Reiki attunement like opening up a faucet, turning it on. What you start off with a dribble, it gets stronger and stronger. Now the thing is that in order to make this energy work, one has to apply it regularly. In the previous video, I'm just an asshole, I don't know anything, I talked about a Reiki group, this Facebook group. And what I'm seeing in the people who respond, and not so much in the entire community, because I'm not God, I don't know that many people, but what I'm seeing is there's a lot of misinformation, there's a lot of bad teaching, there's a lot of, well, misinformation. Here's the thing. I come from two schools of thought. When I came to Reiki, it ripped me open. I was very clairvoyant. It made me very psychic. It showed me the Christ light, and I was, rainbow farts and angel wings. And then I kind of went and did my own life, and took off for a while, and Reiki kind of shut down. But when I wanted to get back in the game, when I wanted to start focusing on being happy, I met my teacher. Now, my teacher uses Reiki daily. She heals herself of scoliosis. I've said this before. Her name is Sister Eileen Curtis. She lives in Victoria. She was out of Queenswood, and Queenswood subsequently closed, and there is a branch of Queenswood somewhere in that city. I've lost sort of touch with where she's at. Now, when you're learning Reiki for yourself, which is way more where my information comes from because I'm self-taught and self-experienced by the last 6 years, because I have used Reiki literally for 6.5 years, since I was, 33. And I have used it every day, minus, period here and there, a couple weeks not touching myself. Ooh, that's dirty. But by touching myself, I mean laying my hands on and doing Reiki and all this stuff. And the thing that a lot of Reiki community doesn't like to say is the miracle talk, right? God forbid we should actually be honest about having a miracle. But there are a lot of us who will not sort of sit quietly and say Reiki is actually miraculous in many ways. Like my teacher, she healed herself of scoliosis. She literally saw the bones, felt the bones pop into place. Her muscles went so relaxed that she was able to pop her bones back into place. For me, it's become a cognitive therapy. It's the best psychiatrist I've ever had. And unfortunately, I've never actually had a psychiatrist once. He was a sex therapist, and that was a whole other game, but turns out I'm actually quite okay by his standards. So, yeah, that's what Reiki is. It is a self-help in your hands that comes through your crown and helps you connect on an energy level in a meditative way to your own subtle body, which in short is your soul. Again, there are different ways of talking about the subtle body, but let's use the Reiki symbol, the Shoku-rei. This is the first thing you get in level 1. Now, most teachers do not give this to their students until level 2. That's a misnomer, but let's talk about it. So, all right, this is your external body, okay? This circle right here, we'll say that's the external body, that's your flesh. This right here is your conscious, your unconscious, okay? These are your emotional world, etc., etc., etc. This right here would be your basic instincts, your the need to eat, the need to sleep, and then right in the very center is the soul. So when we're dealing with Reiki and when we're using the symbols and we're doing self-treatments, we're basically tapping into this and bringing it into this. Okay, and that is why we can say that there's miracles in work. It's not actually a miracle, because if you study the science of what's going on, and you have to use more of a quantum physics science than necessarily a laboratory science, this right here is changing because this energy here is pushing out. Okay, this energy here is calling for this energy here, and that's what Reiki is doing for you, ladies and gentlemen. I must remember that because, oh my God, that's brilliant. But that's what Reiki is doing, and this is all happening through self-treatments. Okay, and so the self-treatment is laying on of hands, and the energy is going in. Now, while you're under your own treatment, you're pretty much hitting a very hypnotic meditative state. So you're kind of really, all that's going to start to happen is all the day-to-day thoughts slow down, and all the personal thoughts, the root problems, why certain stress levels are existing, they start to come to light. Now, you know, like I've said before, a quick story was, you know, at 4 years of age, I was in my dad's car. I didn't listen to him with the seatbelt. I went almost into the front of the car when he slammed on the brakes, not 10 minutes later. That fear was why I was afraid to get a license and afraid to drive. So it's why I've always lived in cities where, you know, transit was really awesome. But that, my friends, was a belief that was started. And, you know, it goes back to being so itsy bitsy witsy that the rest of it controlled it, right? This fear controlled this. And so in the unconscious, I started healing all of that. That's what Reiki does. Now, again, for every person, it's going to be different. But if you're going to pay attention, if you're going to learn Reiki, that's what it's going to do for you. Is it's going to open channels in your mind and allow you to see and understand more clearly your belief system and why you think the way you do and why you have the problems you have. Because everything that is in our lives, ladies and gentlemen, our problems, our beliefs, our whatever we're attracting, it's all energy. So now we have a new system, 100 years old, called Reiki, that uses energy to heal the body, get into the mind, and produce results that allow us to heal and be happy. I got rid of my anger. Like I said on the last video, I could have called that lady any number of different things I wanted to, but no. Out of respect, I tried to keep it calm. She didn't like the cupcakes and rainbow farts, but that's not my problem. See, what then happened to her is she's got all those problems. She has to justify herself and all these things. Now, if you were her, I could teach you how to get in there and stop that. Because I can show you how to stop being crazy. I can show you how to make the world a wonderful place, but whereby it's no longer the world, it's you. Once you start to solve you, the world becomes a much easier, more fascinating, more miraculous place to live. And that all starts with someone opening the crown, putting energy into the palms, and activating Reiki within the system. So, simply put, a half hour of energy work where it's traveling through you brings you into a calm. When you're in that calm, you become more aware of your thoughts. When you become more aware of your thoughts, you can get to the root cause of your thoughts. And then you will be able to heal a lot of neuroses that we have. The OCD issues, PTSD, anything that happens while you're still consciously alive that didn't happen from the point of birth forward, and because only I'm saying this because I'm not even sure if that's 100%, but anything that happens in your life is reversible, okay? All of it, reversible. For you to live happy, free, that's what Reiki gives you. That's what this is all about. And this is about realism, people. This is not about rainbow farts and cupcakes. With Reiki, it is a genuine science that will free you and probably actually make you smarter, because once you let go of all the emotional blocks, you have new neural pathways being opened and being used, and then you start thinking differently because you're no longer thinking according to pain, you're thinking according to freedom. These are two very different ways of thinking. Love, fear. Fear is all your emotional crap. Love is all the freedom from it. But that love, it might be Barbie dolls and Ken dolls and you know, Porsches and Boxsters, or it could just be, hey, the amount of fucks I give is a lot less, and I'm okay with being at that point. Because that's the power of Reiki. As a cognitive therapy, as a way to heal yourself, that's what Reiki's offering you, is a way out through here, because everything is conscious. Now, consciousness is also energy, because thoughts become things. Reiki handles the energy, handles the thoughts, changes the energy, all through touch. A laying on of hands after an attunement process. There, Reiki. I hope that makes sense.